check out that we are.
Guess I don't need to read anything, so I don't have to put my glasses on. That'd be good.
It makes you look more intelligent, though, John.
What's that?
It makes you look super intelligent when you put the glasses on.
Oh, yeah.
It's an angle.
There's no help for that.
Let's have a look.
I think the roller green space.
I need it just because I can't see. Let's have a see. I think we are live right now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're live, guys. Hopefully, somebody will let us in the chat. Yeah, Phil Woody, UK, is in the chat. And he is telling us we are live. Now, actually, that's a great place to start because right here in the UK, it's been a busy week, busy weekend. The Arnold Classic UK has been taking place over the last 3 days. I've actually been down there today, which was quite good fun, seeing a lot of the guys from the strength sport industry down there. Got a bit of time just teaching Larry Wheels a little bit on the table today and milling about with some of the guys down there. So a lot of fun down at the Arnold Classic. What I would say is that one of the other guys that was over attending the Arnold Classic was Monster Michael Todd. And a very own Phil Woody, who's in the chat right now, has set up a seminar for Mike. He is going to be in Durham next Saturday. Keep your eye on the chat and Phil will put you some details in there. We'll also put on my channel, we'll get a shot up there as well of the information relating to that seminar. And if you want to see it next week, Phil will put some stuff in the chat now. If you could, Phil, if you want to put your link in there as well, just cluster on the chat with the link. Get yourself over there. Great chance to meet up with Monster Mike and also to ask questions if you're a fan of the sport and you've never met Mike before. Mike's a fountain of knowledge in this game. He's been in the thing for a long, long time. Not as long as these two, mother, because they're on the ball right now. But actually, he has been in. I think he's been in there longer than Engin, actually. Not as long as John. John was frigging. He's like somebody I collected John off a mountain.
10 years older than Engin, yeah.
Yeah, old as stone. The average age on the phone right now is over 50. Let me just tell you that. It's not good. But yeah, Mike's going to be there. He's going to be in County Durham next Saturday. Get over, check it out. It should be really good fun. And Phil will stick some details in the chat now. We'll put the stuff on the community tab as well. So, guys, welcome to the fix. Show 123. 123 of these things.
That is amazing.
Yes, 123 weeks of the fix every Sunday. We don't miss a beat. Now, 1, 2, 3. Number one is on the phone. His name is John Brzenk, and he's the greatest arm wrestler of all time. End of. Number two, definitely in that conversation, is Engin Terzi. He's definitely the most obsessed arm wrestler in the history of the game. And he'd taken a lot of risks in his time. 3, I don't know about that. We'll leave that. But I'm on here as well. So we're going to have some fun, guys. And we are talking about the next big show that's coming up. It seems like these things coming thick and fast, and King of the Table 5 right around the corner, 1 week away. We're going to be taking a break from Arm Wars next week. We're not going to do the Arm Wars next Friday night. We're going to let all the focus go on to the King of the Table. There's going to be an enormous amount of stuff out there. On the Friday night, you're going to be seeing the press conference after the weigh-ins and so on. So a huge amount of stuff, hive activity over in Dubai. But it's a nice opportunity tonight to get the best to ever do it on the show, John Brzenk, and obviously a guy that's also intrinsically linked with the King of the Table and the East versus West in Engin Terzi, just to go through their feelings, their thoughts around some of the marquee matches that are taking place over in Dubai, particularly the match between Vitali, the Latin, and Dave Chaffey of the US. And it is a super, super intriguing match. Now, just to play catch up a little bit with John, particularly because myself and Engin touched base on this last week. But as a starter for 10, John, we were saying how intrigued we are by this match, because it's fair to say that both these guys, with respect to both of them, have been on something of a slide of late. Their form's not been great. Some of the losses that they've taken recently have punched quite a significant hole in their once robust reputations.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say who suffered the greatest from that. Possibly the Latin, because of the heights that he was viewed. I mean, I think if you wound the clock back certainly 18 months, I think most people would have agreed that Vitali Lalatin was probably considered right behind Levon Saganashvili as the very best in the world. And yet we've seen him lose a couple of matches. We've seen a lot of people cast doubt on where his level is and has been. And even more importantly, he's facing a guy in Dave Chaffey who is always an incredible level of top-end strength. But when we spoke on the phone getting ready for this thing the other day, you acknowledged the fact also that stylistically, he's going through changes. He's really shaped up his game. How do you see this thing playing out, John?
Well, shoot, yeah, like you say, we really don't know how strong Vitali is. I was trying to think back what prompted him to be at that extreme high level. Was it his dominant performance against Krasimir? I mean, we put him at such a high level, I think, based on that match. But then we've seen Krasimir getting beat by lesser opponents also than we thought that he would do. So maybe that was kind of a false indicator of how strong Vitali was. As far as the match between him and Dave Chaffey, to me, it's going to be a battle of who's got the stronger hand. I don't think Dave has the. I look at it to attack Vitali. Look at it. You have two options: either a Travis Badgett style high post because his arm is so long, and you got tremendous back pressure that you can also just blast to the side, or a similar setup like that and come crashing down on his wrist to bring that long arm at an angle. I don't think Dave is going to do either one of those. I think Dave is his technique is kind of the Johnny Walker style, straight to the side, and he relies so much on his hand strength and his hand ability. I think that's going to play right into Vitali's strongest, position. So to me, it's just going to be a matter of whose hand can withstand the side pressure the most. Vitali for sure is going to have the high ground. And I just don't know if Dave has the technique to bring that long arm at a low enough angle to really put the hurting on him. So I think they're going to clash at their highest level. I mean, I don't think there's going to be much sneaky technique to disable the other opponent. I think they're both going to be going at it, in their full ability. But obviously, Vitali has possibly the strongest hand in the world in arm wrestling for sure, and he's got that height advantage. So I just wish that I haven't really been watching a lot of what Dave's been doing, but like I said, I wish Dave had that Rustam Babayev ability where he could stand up straight and either decide to come lat straight down on his wrist to get that big long arm at an angle, or that posting style top roll. Like I said, from what I know of Dave, he's that high powered dragster that is similar to Pushkar, that is just going to do his top strength and just go the direction he feels is he's been training to go. And like I said, we'll see if his hand and wrist hold up. And then the other factor of that is how long can he do that. We've seen in the past that high powered dragster runs out of gas pretty quick. So can he do it 3 matches, 4th match, to take the series? So yeah, that's basically my thoughts. I think that both those guys are going to test each other's hand and just be blasting to the side. And if Dave's hand can hold up, I think his arm is definitely strong enough to take Vitali out of position. But it'll be interesting to see if Vitali can kind of stonewall that hand and wrist by just his height and his back pressure.
How do you see the initiation of the match going, mate? Because we know myself and Engin last week were talking about the sort of stopping point, resting point, regathering point in the match. How intimidating is Dave to hit on the guy? A lot of guys seem to be a little bit rabbit in the headlights, and unless you get the freak factor with Levon where he was just too strong. When you're setting up with David, is he the kind of guy that you feel like you can attack, you can hit from a top roll perspective, or do you think we're going to see Vitali forced onto the defensive.
Yeah. I don't have much experience with setting up with Dave. You know, one time I think I pulled him in the Russian A1 was about it. And he definitely feels like, you know, you can't top roll his hand. I didn't feel a ton of back pressure from him. So I don't know if Vitali will be, you know, feel uncomfortable with the setup with Dave. But Dave can definitely unload. And when he unloads, it's kind of in a very unusual sweeping manner that really puts the torque on the upper arm. So if Vitali can somehow weather that initial hit and get it stopped somewhere, even if it's over, you know, quite a ways over, then I think Dave's going to be in trouble. But yeah, that initial hit, that initial surge is, and it's not fast like Travis. I mean, it's just awkwardly powerful. So yeah, but if you know, obviously if Dave gets stopped, I think it's Vitali's, you know, Vitali's series for sure. I mean, I don't see any way that Dave can bounce back from getting stopped. He needs to really be calculated to conserve his energy and to be aggressive and to get the matches over with as quickly as possible. No farting around or no feeling overconfident and showboating and spending 2-3 seconds, you know, holding in a position. I think I would play it safe and get the match over with as quick as possible.
Engin, let's bring you in at this point, mate. In terms of top end strength, just raw power, do you believe that Dave is much stronger than the Latin? Do you think if the match, if there's any connection on the arm, the Latin?
I want to mostly repeat what I said last week. Let's think from the like, if I start talking from the perspective that John is saying that high arm, you know, the tall arm, Dave just beat Alex Kurdecha, who is as tall as Laletin. And if we talk about Dave, till a certain year, Dave, and after a certain year, Dave are two different. The Dave in the past was like this, and Dave today is more like this, more pronator, side pressure, because he got top roll a lot of times by Travis, by Michael, Devon, and then he was like, okay, I'm done because my wrist is not handling. So if they hit me from there, so I hit them back from here. Yeah. So he started developing an outer side pressure with his thumb. That is why, in my opinion, when you are over pronating in your style, you are kind of losing your ability of, you know, strong hook, because your arm wants to pronate to win, because you don't go that way. It's not bad. You don't go balance from here and here at the same time, but you want to use your thumb side more dominant. So if we talk like how, you remember what we talked last week?
Yes.
When he easily beat, like he beat Gennady first 2 rounds easier than Hermes beat Gennady. And he beat much stronger version of Gennady than the newly making a comeback Gennady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when Hermes pulled Gennady and when they pulled Gennady in May, the Gennady in May was stronger. But still, when Gennady tried to top roll him, they was beating him like nothing. Even the 3rd round, when Gennady lifted his elbow to foul, they still beat him. How did Gennady beat him? Gennady hooked him and beat him.
Yeah.
But if Gennady would still go outside, they was gonna beat him probably next 10 times. The second time we talk about the Morozov, he beat Morozov first 2 rounds. And then Morozov, as you guys reminded me later, that Morozov beat him without the strap. But the last round, when they finally managed to sleep, and Dave was totally exhausted, he even lost round 3 and round 4. But still, when you put them in strap, Morozov wasn't able to go outside with Dave. He won that, and then Dave took him down here, and then he catch him in hook here, and then he brought him back. So still, it wasn't possible to top roll Dave in strap. Just think about it. Dave went to strap with Kurdecha and dominated him. They went to strap with Gennady. When both tried to top roll, they dominated him. When Morozov went to strap, he couldn't top roll Dave. He had to hook him. So what I'm just saying that it doesn't look so easy to top roll Dave. And Dave, people says that, you know, his endurance is not good. But if you look at, if I would categorize Laletin, I wouldn't categorize Laletin in the same way of Gennady or Morozov, which these guys have horsepower, warrior type of puller. I would categorize Laletin in the way of Kurdesha, more like technical, but you understand?
More evasive,
so, but whenever Dave pulled Kurdesha, Dave wasn't the one who gassed out. It was the 5th round, he even holding without the strap and then did like this too. So what I'm just saying, it's not that. I think Dave's endurance against top rolling, especially in the strap, is good. And Laletin, because I have been following him for more than 10 years, because we have been competing in the same events, he was so tall, nobody was able to top roll him. He was always pulling with low hand top roll. The people were trying to hook. So he was always doing this. When I know from experience of people I know, when people are all the time pulling like this, their riser is not that good anymore. You understand? But if you realize, look at Laletin. When Gennady wanted to go, not Gennady, sorry. When Levan wanted to go straight side pressure round 1 in their super match, he stopped Levan and he brought him here. So what Levan did was just, he went, instead of going sideways, he rised back and then top rolled him and beat him. And then next 5 rounds, he repeated. And then John said, Laletin has very strong hand. That's true, strong hand. But I cannot say the same thing for his riser and his wrist. Against. Just look at that match and look at the other matches later on. He lost to Slayev top roll.
Right, but it has to be a high hand top roll. Everybody that's beaten Laletin is a posting style top roll. It's the Travis. Yeah. You can't do it by matching his hand and going side pressure.
No, it has to be attacking A side. But there's no B side.
It's got to be back. It's got to be back.
Yes. So what I just say, they should try to focus on taking Laletin's wrist first and then going instead of any side. Because if he goes sideways, if he doesn't take his wrist and Laletin has little bit wrist, then it will be nightmare for him.
Right. Because so Dave is going to be expending all the energy. He's going to be continuing to hang on just like Andre Pushkar used to do, and then it'll be all over.
Ask me one thing, John. If he top rolls Laletin first round, trust me, most likely it will continue that way. Most likely.
It's almost the whole Laletin style, like most guys who pull in that manner, is built around a reliance that you're going to hang on to them. You're gonna try and contain them. And in the past, I'll be honest with you, in the past, Dave was all about that. He was all about the containment. And like we were saying a moment ago, that's why Travis ran through him at the WL the last time round, because he gave him such a target to hit. And Travis was so great with that posting style top roll and so fast and aggressive on the start. There was no balance point for Dave to even get in the match. Never got his power down.
Right.
What's interesting in this occasion is that Laletin recently, because he has become stronger, is almost less reliant on people just holding him. He thinks, I'm in this thing a little bit. And also at the same time, Dave has become more elusive. He's learned a little bit, okay, I can't go chasing these guys. And so he's performing a very brutal, ugly style of top roll, but it's very, very effective. It drags people into dirty matches, really ugly positions. And with Laletin, you're talking about a guy who doesn't pull ugly. He pulls clean and proficient and orthodox. And that's why I'm so interested in this thing, because Dave's strong enough to drag it into a dogfight. And that could be really, really interesting. It's who fatigues most in that position. You know,
will Leighton commit his frame and kind of wind into a hook if he needs to?
Well, funnily enough, in the last match with Ferret, he actually lost his wrist, came inside and pressed.
Oh, tried to press. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Now,
but do you know why? Do you know why? Because Ferret has been injured from his inner elbow.
Mhm.
That's why his main style with right arm has always been. I mean, sometimes he top roll, but he was a hook puller. So now he's trying to develop a top roll, and then he came to visit me 2 weeks ago. I talked with him. Now, okay, your top roll, your wrist, everything is good, yeah, but you are doing this kind of too open, so you don't have the joint lock to apply enough side pressure.
Yep.
So I think he needs to add some. I think he needs to do as Dave Chaffey is doing. Dave Chaffey is not going that way. Dave Chaffey going outside with the side pressure, incredible side pressure. But as I said, the Zaur, the Russian guy, also top roll Levan.
Yep.
And Ferret also top roll, not Levan, I'm sorry, Laletin.
The Latin.
So, yeah, so what I just tried to say that I don't know if there is something Dave Chaffey did, Ferret did that Dave Chaffey cannot do it right now, because Ferret is just making a comeback. He's not exactly where he wants to be, but still he was able to do that. And if it takes the risk, I don't think that Laletin will be able to press this. Right. He's just gonna go through him, you know.
Although I don't see Dave as having that type of control back like Ferret did against Laletin. I think Dave will commit more side pressure. He'll be hitting more to the side than just protecting his hand and wrist and kind of laying back and hoping that Vitali hangs on.
You make an interesting point, mate.
Yeah, but
this is one of the questions.
Had to do that, John. Ferret had to do that because he didn't have the side pressure.
But it was very effective. But it's effective, and I just
don't. Ferret also attack him here, and then he was just like trying to, you know, he was in defensive position.
I just worry that Dave will put himself out of position trying to attack for the pin.
They will not. They will not.
I've never seen Dave actually go control like this and just kind of hold and say, okay, you know, keep holding on to me, keep holding on to me.
Yeah, I like that point, John, and I've thought the same, mate. I'm going to be honest. I did think, you know, we could look at this and think, okay, well, who's going to feel the most intimidating on that setup? And I think round one will tell us a great deal. Is Dave confident enough in his new style to feel like, you know, I can do that, I'm going to apply that same technique? Or will he feel a little bit awkward with someone like Laletin, who is a real challenge? Physical dimensions, the guy's hard to beat. He's got every weapon in the arsenal. So I wonder whether Dave will think, you know what, I'll revert back to what I do best. I'm stronger than this guy. I'm just a stronger guy, and I'll try and finish it.
Right.
Feeling that Latin's going more defensive than A-side attack.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to play defensive. He doesn't need to. I think that he is already going whenever he's going sideways. He's not going as you remember him used to with his wrist like this. If he goes like this,
awkward.
Laletin is gonna kill him if he goes straight sideways. But he's not doing that. Just look at him, his matches. If somebody hooks him, then maybe he's doing a little bit. But if the guy is going top roll, you see that he's taking his wrist. He's more pronating out. He's not going straight sideways. He's pronator dominating going, and then Laletin is like this. So I think he will be just remember the Kurdecha versus Dave match. You don't remember?
Yeah, but they pull very differently, mate. I can't draw a comparison that clearly with Kurdecha and Laletin because the guys pull so differently.
But I think it's even better for Dave because he's dropping his hand like
maybe. What I'm concerned about is whether the physical dimensions of Vitali are so different because with Alex, you know what you're getting, and Dave will know what he's getting. The guy is all gears forward. There's no reversing out of you. There's no trying to keep control. His whole thing is explosive. You know, as soon as that thing drops, he's going to blow up. You just blow sideways on you as hard as he can, try and rip through your hand and wrist and slam you to the pad. I think that Vitali's got much more of an ambush style where he's quite happy to sort of hit for position. And that's what concerns me, whether that's going to make in the setup, whether Dave feels like, oh, okay, that's a real threat. If I accelerate back on this guy, I'm going to lose my hand and wrist. And if you lose your hand and wrist, big problem.
If they stay like this in a neutral position, both like this, trust me, Dave is the one who's going to beat him.
I think one of Dave's best looks would be literally, I know he doesn't run, but I'd run for the strap and get tied to him I think in the strap, he's got so much. If he can
strap.
keep his knuckles high and get to the strap, he's got enough awkward factor and enough genuine just top end arm strength. He could pull off a real shock, and there's big pressure coming into this.
Right.
No?
All it's going to take is getting Vitali's that long arm at a little bit of an angle, and Dave will go right through it. But bringing that long arm down to an angle is going to be the key.
Very, very difficult. We'll knock over
how he attempts
super chats real quick before I lose them. So Jared, thanks very much, mate, for your super chats. But John, what's your opinion on Michael for December? So we'll come back to that in just one moment. What's your opinion on Michael for December? And that's a bloody interesting matchup. Sean Crowler's coming with a super chat. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it, mate. He's put, love seeing you three legends in a call together. There's over 2,000 years of combined experience on the screen right now. 2079 to be precise. Cheers, Sean. Thanks, mate. Let's have a look what we got. Mark Squigera, great dude. Met Mark when we were over in Dubai. So what an absolute cracker of an episode. All three of you are legends. Wishing you health, wealth, love, and forgiveness. Cheers, mate. Much appreciate it. We can't forgive Engin, though. He's done some bad things. Cold Stone with a super chat. He's put, what's John's thoughts on the Michael match? So a lot of people wanting to hear about that. So we're going to have to segue into that one for sure. And then last but by no means least, Pabnaful. Thanks for your super chat, mate. He's put, Neil, do you think Ryan Bowen can defeat John when John turns 70? No.
John,
so John's probably got stronger.
John, before you answer the Michael talk thing, I will just say I talk with Dave. All I will say that Dave knows what he needs to do. That's all I am not saying he can do it. I'm not saying he will win, but he knows. But you remember your concern you said?
Yeah.
John? Yeah, he knows about that. He knows what he needs to do. But if he can do or not, we will see. The strength will say the last word. But he knows that he shouldn't go sideways. Sideways. Yeah.
So Swedish Stan's coming in with a super chat. Thanks for that, mate. Just seen your super chat, brother. Thank you very much, Swedish Stan, with a super chat. Just incidentally, guys, we got a few top boys in the chat here. We got Jordan Davis of Oz fame in the chat from Armwrestling. We haven't seen Jordan's matches. Get over, check those out. As I say, we got the usual suspects like Phil Willie in there. We've also got Jamie Sheldon in the house as well. So thanks for tuning in, everybody who's in the chat. About 493 people in at the moment. So let's go back to the Chaffey, the Latin match first of all, and I want to sort of get everybody's floppy dog on the block. If you were calling it, if you're betting on this match, we're getting into the rare air now. We're finishing. We're a week out. Have you changed your opinions, Engin, or have you who do you think if you're betting on it?
I mean, I betting is against my belief. So.
What if I give you the money? Say, put that down, Engin. Put that down.
Yeah, still, like, I mean,
use your knowledge. Who are you going on?
I just think that I saw whenever I see the poll results, the Vitali is heavily favored. But I'm just thinking that it is the worst case is a 50-50 match.
Worst case, 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel if, because we know that round one is like, the guy is incredible. And we know another thing that he proved himself, he is doing well in strap when his opponent is trying to topple. Kurdecha, Gennady, and Morozov. Yep. So this guy, round one, is incredible. What I'm just saying that both Gennady and Morozov are known horsepower, endurance guys, while Vitali is a control type of guy. Once the things start going bad, the rest may go that way. Like same happened with the Alex Kurdecha. So that is what I'm just saying, that people shouldn't underestimate Dave. That's all I will say.
Who do you think's got the most? I mean, John, you're probably the prime example of all time in terms of having to deal with expectation and pressure. I mean, holy crap. Every time you come to the table against anybody, it got to the stage where it didn't matter. Weight was not important. Doesn't matter who you're arm wrestling and how much they outweigh you by. You were still so much of a favorite that I always remember the Splenkov match when we're at the World Cup, and everybody's got you as the favorite. You're backstage going, I can't believe this. I'm like so much older than this dude, and he's so much bigger, and so much pressure on me. but you always manage to contain it. For these two guys now, they're both lads who've had huge reputations.
Yeah.
In a real melting pot, and they're both coming off a losing streak. Who do you think's got the most expectation? Because that changes things. They got to win, haven't they?
Yeah. No, I'm surprised to hear. I haven't really been keeping track of the internet as far as polls go, and I'm surprised to hear that Vitali is the favorite, because I would have thought 60-40 for sure. Dave is a clear favorite to me, because I just don't know if Vitali really possesses even the hooking ability to make the match, go there. He's probably not as strong as Morozov. He's probably not as strong as Gennady. So maybe that option's off the table. His posting back pressure, hand control, top roll is his only survival. And I'm not sure if even if he gets that, I mean, the question is whether or not he'll have enough side pressure to keep Dave from just manhandling him, doing a Todd Hutchins and, flat wristed, take him to the side. So I'm not completely on the Vitali, bandwagon of number 2 in the world. I never was. I would bet my money on Dave for sure.
You're going with Dave. Are you going with a relatively comfortable win for Dave? Do you think he can get the job done easy? Would it shock you if he did?
Yeah, no, I think he's going to cruise through the first, second match. I worry, like most of us do. We get a little too confident, or maybe we want to test something else, or whatever the reason, we get a little bit of a letdown, and that might be just enough to allow Vitali to be in the match, and then I can see Vitali coming back and winning the damn thing. So that it's there's nothing as a sure bet, obviously. But yeah, I mean, that's the only way I see Vitali winning is somehow, stopping, and it's probably going to take maybe the second match at least to figure it out, and it'll probably be more or less Dave's fault than Vitali doing it. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't, because of their wishy-washy records, I don't think they don't. Obviously, neither one of them have the pressure that Levon has, that wants to keep that undefeated record. So I don't think that, it's going to be a good, exciting match. Yeah.
One of the most interesting dynamics I see for this whole thing is that win, lose, or draw, what we've seen from Dave over time is that he has got balls and he's a fighter. He will scrap in bad positions. I mean, you only have to look at the WL match with Devon, where they both got almost kings moved and all over the place. But Dave was in there for the long haul, and he's jointy. You know what I mean? The guy will wrestle on joints. He'll wrestle with his wrist pushed back. He'll wrestle just driving to the side. Now, the Latin, not so much. He tends to be, because of the leverage works against him in that scenario, and he's prone to being injured and damaged. And if he passes that elastic limit, it could pull him to pieces, I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's more calculated to me. I mean, I think he's going to be more defensive, which requires a lot less energy. Dave, and I'm going to compare him to the late Andre Pushkar. I mean, he is full throttle from the moment they say go. He doesn't have any calculating of like, oh, I'll rest here, or I'll go into a hold here to wear my opponent out. He is full bore, just wants to take control from the beginning right to the end, and there's no stop. Even if it does stop, he doesn't think, oh, take a breath and possibly rest. He's like going. Still going.
Yeah.
So, that could be the downfall of why his gas tank gets depleted so quickly. Obviously, it takes a lot more energy to have that mindset than going in there and being a tree and just holding and locking it out. So
I know I had a conversation with some guys the other day, and they were saying, look, we've seen amazing matches. I always remember Gatalo in the Europeans. That was an incredible match. And people who don't know Gatalo, unbelievable Kazakh puller, strong as hell. One of the most underrated guys on the circuit for many, many years. He's a beast. And that was an incredible match. But throughout that match, Lalatin was in control. He always has a really sweet position. He's out arm wrestling his opponent, puts him into an ugly spot, and there he can arm wrestle on that counter for a long period of time very effectively. My concern for him is that Dave could pull him into the deep water early, into that real dogfight scenario, and he could break himself apart or catastrophically fail something trying to fight his way out of it. And I think Dave's more used to pulling ugly. Some guys are just good at that. Todd Hutchins is one of them. Dave's another one. He may gas, but in the early rounds, if he can do damage to Vitali, can Vitali get to the end of the match? That's my concern for Lalatin. I think if he can get a position of control, he's going to be extremely tough to beat. He really is. Very, very tough to beat. But yeah, fascinating match.
Getalo was a hook puller, and we know that Vitali is very, very effective. I think if Lalatin is in good shape, very good shape, I don't see anyone hooking that guy.
No.
Yeah, so
it's hard
to do that. But just whenever you see this guy losing, he's losing this. And then once he start having this, and then the rest is coming. He loses he had a little bit match with Slayev. The next you lost Zaur, and then lost Ferret, and then lost another guy. I don't remember the last guy, how he beat him with the deadlift, or I don't know how. But what I'm just saying, that we're talking again, I want to repeat that Dave's endurance against top rollers is not bad. Kurdesha match, Morozov match, Gennady match, whenever, even the round 3, Gennady tried top roll, he was still like finishing like this easily. So the guy is good. He start with Kurdesha, he ended up here, brought from here like this, and then every round it was easier. Fifth round, he just hold him without strap and beat him. I'm not saying Alex and Lalatin are the same guys, but both are top rollers. But what I'm just saying, that he was not exhausted against top roller. No. Even the 5th round, 3 round, 4 round, he lost terribly to Morozov. The 5th round, he managed to go strap. Morozov couldn't do anything with outside.
So you think he's more prone to fatigue from the guys like Morozov, who could take him into almost parity in a red line.
Horsepower, yeah. And I don't think that Lalatin can do anything inside to Dave. It's my opinion. Maybe he can, but we didn't see something like that.
It's interesting, isn't it? That's where vulnerabilities show up. And early on in the A1 back in the day, once he got a few bullet holes in him, he dropped off. And when he got in with John the second time round, you basically ran through Dave, didn't you, in the hook? I mean, I think it was.
But even with as fatigued as he was, it was my only. It felt like it was my only option. I mean, I could not still, as bad as he was, compete against him fighting my top roll and going anything hand to hand. I had to allow it to sweep and kind of let it drop into a hook, and then I felt okay, comfortable, But even as fatigued as he was, he still had that tremendous hand and wrist and hard hitting side pressure. So, but getting back to Lalatin, we don't know how good of a hook puller he is. I mean, where would you classify him, Engin, as far as Vitali against Kurdesha, as far as hooking goes? Because Kurdesha, to me, didn't seem to have a tremendous amount of holding ability or side pressure or hook ability once his top roll got defeated. So is Lalatin going to be that, stronger, hopefully, than Kurdesha? I mean, where do we put Vitali in that?
I don't remember him. Who did he beat with the flat wrist? When he is in an equal position with the flat wrist?
No. Even just being able to hook, he's got a long enough arm that he might be able to, catch Dave sweeping with maybe getting underneath it somehow. But is his frame strong enough and his ability to
we haven't seen.
He's never really gone there, has he? Right. He doesn't commit himself.
Except he beat Krasimir, but what I don't think that Krasimir last a few years is
right
where he has been. But I don't know. We will see. I mean, this is life, and we are still learning. Maybe next Saturday we will learn something that we never knew before. But I will tell you something. His wrist was damaged after he pulled Ferret. Remember with the dead wrist?
Oh yeah. No, just even watching that, it looked painful. It's like, wow. I mean, so it looked like it was getting red even.
My guess is he's coming just like resting 5 weeks and coming here.
Yeah, I noticed. I see the footage that he's actually been in Dubai now for a few weeks, and I've seen him do some strength stuff. Hopefully, that doesn't, wear him
He's
off.
doing
wear
his
him
right,
down.
right arm he's doing?
I think so. He was doing some right-handed grips with Larry the other day to, as far as personal.
There's
records.
actually a good chance we're getting him on a show this week. He may be coming on a show this Thursday. We may have Vitali on the show on Thursday.
So I don't know how long he's been in Dubai, but hopefully he's not still, being put in a position to train real hard or do, too taxing of.
Well, one of the things you said that really interests me, John, where you said, "Look, I'm not on and I never was on the number 2 in the world train." How? Let's say we'll look at this from both sides, okay? So let's say that he goes in there and cracks Dave, murders him. Does that change your opinion of Vitali? Do you feel like, oh shit, this guy's way stronger than I thought?
Yeah, no, it depends. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how he beats him. If he cracks him and beats him quickly, then I say, Vitali's got the ability to possibly, and I would want to see a match with Levon. I mean, but if he wins by a long, drawn out, just barely hanging on, and
John?
Dave gasses out, then I'm going to be going,
John, what did you say? What did you say if he beats Dave, and then you said something about Levon?
Yeah, no, I mean, if he's strong enough to power right through Dave right from the go and beat him like that,
just runs through him.
Just runs through him. Then he's got the frame, he's got the size, he's got then possibly in my mind he's got this actual strength to.
Yeah, but just even if he does that, where are we gonna put what happened to him in Chechnya events?
Well, this is the thing. This is the distinction we're talking about. And I've mentioned this many, many times. Supermatch arm wrestling and tournament arm wrestling are a different sport. They're just different. Because the manner in which the arm wrestler will attack those matches is different. Guys will trade things in, take bigger risks, knowing that they've got a different opportunity, more opportunities to do different things. Right. You just approach it differently. Certainly, if I was in a main draw tournament and I was in a super match, I'd have an entirely different mindset. So I'm really cautious to draw parallels between results in super match and results in a main draw tournament. I see them as different.
Right. And just watching the Russian tournament, and I don't know how that all played out. I don't know how much rest was between rounds, but obviously you mentioned it. The Zaur was not that great of an arm wrestler. It's just that he just had a fantastic draw, right? I mean, he ended up basically winning that on the fact that Vitali and Ferret went into a massive war, and I'm assuming it was fairly quick.
No. Zaur beat Laletin before he pulled Ferret.
Before Ferret pulled Laletin? Before Ferret pulled Laletin? I said before Ferret pulled Laletin?
Yeah, before, Zaur.
Not before Dimitri had pulled him, hadn't he? Dimitri pulled Laletin first.
Let me finish. Zaur pulled Ferret first, and Zaur beat Ferret easily.
Easy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then Laletin and Slayev pulled.
Yes.
He was like 8-10 seconds, I remember, and then a foul, and then restart 1 second. Laletin won.
Yes.
And after that, Zaur just destroyed Laletin, and then Ferret and Laletin had the war.
Okay. Yeah, see, that all plays a big part, and we don't ever know, even with seeing the footage, we don't really know what happened in live.
I think a big thing is the approach and the mental status of a guy going in main draw versus super match. I think they're just a different thing. But let me ask you this question, and I'll start with you, Engin. If, let's say this scenario, okay, and Vitali cracks Dave, lights him up, no problem. Does that change your opinion of Vitali, or are you sort of, that's kind of what I expected, or I'm not surprised? Do you see that stylistically as an option?
No. I'm not saying that Laletin cannot beat Dave. I said it is like, I would give the little bit edge to Dave, but it is like, it can be 50-50 match. Anything can happen. But what I'm just saying that you said we can't compare tournament and super match, but all of us three here, we are knowledgeable enough to understand something from that tournament. Just because you had 7-8 second match with Slav, if you are getting destroyed by Zaur, it gives you some idea. You know, I mean, you can say a general statement about tournament and super match, but I know what I saw. That event, Zaur was the best guy. He was better. So I don't think it would. I mean, if Laletin wants to be at the level of Levan that we would think about it, I think that he should just destroy Slav, because Slav, even after Laletin match, he also lost to Ferret easily. You know, just I mean, 7-8 seconds we are talking about. You understand? We are not talking about like a minute-long war. And so I don't think he would just prove that to me. It would just prove that he didn't do. I mean, I would think he didn't do super good preparation for the Chechnya event. He was overconfident. You understand? Because he pulled. I saw some practice videos with Slav before the Chechnya event. He was controlling him. So maybe he thought that he should save the serious one preparation for the Dubai, not for that event. But he didn't calculate about Zaur. He didn't calculate about Ferret. So we could see someone totally different in Dubai. Again, we can't judge there, but I don't think they would automatically bring him to the Levan level, but it would also prove that those guys in Chechnya are also all in very good shape. This would be my opinion.
Now, going back to the original question, mate, would it surprise you if Lalatin lit Dave up stylistically? If this match finishes,
there is a positive.
You think, wow, that's a shock.
But Neil, it is gonna go either way quick. I mean, there is some possibility that
I think it could end up in a scrap.
Yeah, no, in strap it can go, but the way I think that if they go flat wrist like this, I think Dave has so much more side pressure and beat him. But if somehow Dave goes sideways and then Laletin has a little bit wrist here, and then I think he will just control beat, and the most likely rest of the matches will go that way. But I
could see the match going. The first match, Dave, if he pronates out, it could be really ugly, but Dave wins relatively comfortable, just drives through ugly, horrible win. Second match, similar, but Lalatin gets a stop on him, creates a little bit of a problem. And then the third match, a real scrap, Lalatin could win, and then Lalatin would win quickly after that. But
what makes you think
that happened?
Neil, what makes you think that, he would have better endurance? While we're talking about
not endurance, I think Dave could rush himself into a problem, because I think that Lalatin, if he can keep integrity on his hand and wrist, that's the critical thing for him. If he gets into any kind of flat position and they're both ugly, Dave is better at winning ugly arm wrestling matches. If Lalatin can keep orthodox and keep control on his hand and wrist, as John said, I agree entirely. Dave will just keep attacking. And it's like an anaconda. You breathe, he tightens. You breathe, he tightens.
Neil, once he start losing his wrist, what makes you think that he can recover his wrist in later round? Maybe
that's not what I said, mate. If he can keep his wrist, that's specific point.
If he keeps his wrist, most likely he's gonna beat Dave.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying.
No, but what I'm
in the first match, if he doesn't lose it after that, I think he can come back and win.
No, what you said that he's gonna lose the first 2 rounds. Is he losing his wrist, or he's having his wrist like this?
He could have his wrist not entirely controlled, so like this, and Dave has just too much horsepower and just finishes the match. But if he hasn't hurt his wrist or lost integrity on his wrist, Dave may gas a little and let him back in. And I think one big distinction between Alex KOTT5 and Vitali Lalatin, and it is a huge distinction, is that Alex KOTT5 is an A-side, attacking, focused arm wrestler. Lalatin is not. Lalatin is much more comfortable than Alex on the counter. He will arm wrestle on the B side with extreme proficiency. Alex won't. He doesn't like being there. He doesn't like being on the B side. He doesn't like arm wrestling on this arc. He likes always being center to A side, and that's his style. I mean, when here, he's not comfortable.
Yeah, but when did you see Vitali doing that? Control pulling against the top rollers. Whenever he pull against Turubin, he just flash pin him.
This is the thing. I don't really see Dave as a top roller. I see Dave as a guy that's on a journey to changing his style, but I don't see Dave Chaffey as a top roller. Dave is not a good top roller. He's not proficient.
Look at the rounds that he's winning. He's top on the guy's wrist.
Yeah, but he's winning on raw, ugly.
My friend, he's attacking with
not
pronator.
proficiency. It's not neat. It's like Michael Todd's top roll. It's basically wank, but really effective.
My friend,
Michael's not a great top roller. But
what do you think that pronator is? What do you think that if you are using your pronator, you are using outside technique, you know?
I know what he's doing. I'm not disagreeing with what he's doing, but there's a look in a boxing match. A guy that knocks you on your ass has just beat you in a boxing match, but he doesn't have to do it in a finesse manner. There are guys that do it classy and finessey, and there are guys that do it just they'll rip your head off with a left hook.
Talk about arm wrestling, please. I don't understand anything about boxing. I understand a little bit about arm wrestling.
Okay, if you look at, let's say you, for example, okay? Let's talk about you.
Listen,
so you're a very, very polished, orthodox top roller. Proficient. Dave is not that guy.
No, he doesn't have to be like me, but he is attacking to opponent's hand with his thumb side.
Yes.
That is why he took Kurdashian's wrist. That is why, just look at his match with Gennady. Every time Gennady tried top roll, Gennady's wrist was like this.
I'm going to disagree with one element of that. I agree with 98% of it. But one thing that is a problem for Alex in that area is that Alex's speed and pace and reliance on trying to Cinderella man the match and finish quickly in a situation that you've got with Dave Chaffey, the evolving, more pronated Dave Chaffey, is that it's a hard man to accelerate through. When John was saying a moment ago, and why I asked that question is to clarify that Dave is a tough man to top roll anyway. And when he pronates back at you and you gun through him, one of the problems with blasting through a guy is, as well as taking your opponent's balance point away, you know this better than anyone, Engin, as well as taking your opponent's balance point away, it also sacrifices an element of yours in the lower arc of the match. Now, Alex,
only if the guy is strong.
He doesn't defend well. He's relatively new to the sport.
No. If this happens to you only if your opponent is really attacking with his pronator, like Dave. Just watch the Dave versus Kurdashian.
I agree. Yeah. But the fact that he did it with Alex makes it more effective. If the guy is more controlled and more orthodox and has a better height arc and he's really comfortable pulling on the B side, there's a chance for me that Dave's move doesn't work as effectively because he runs out of height.
No, there is a chance for
huge height,
right? Especially if he's if he's relying on his hand to achieve that top roll instead of his back pressure and his arm.
Correct. Right. Yes. Now that's what I'm not saying that will happen, but I do see that as a genuine possibility. Whereas with Alex, not so much. Alex either finishes your ass or he's not comfortable. Alex, I believe, why I feel Alex has such unbelievable potential is I think Alex is the tip of the iceberg in terms of his potential. He's been fast-tracked to that elite level and is remarkably talented, but he's not actually that experienced yet. If he gets a load of wool on his back, let's say if Alex was to come over and train with you for 6 to 8 months, I think he'd be an entirely different animal. I've actually told him to do that and to go to see Svetanga Shevsky. If he got out with John, if he got out with other guys at that level who were proficient technical pullers, and he backed up all of that power and explosivity with really solid, diligent technique, holy shit, I think he is a weapon. Absolute weapon. He's still chaos at the moment.
There is only one way that, that happened. If Dave's attack with his pronator to sideway, if is not enough to take Laletin's hand. But if I go back, if you want to beat Laletin, so far it is proven that its best way is to top roll him, as John said, that in a posting way.
Yes,
his wrist is like this. I don't think his riser is incredibly strong. And Ferret takes it, Zaur takes it, Slav takes it, and now we saw that first. Even do you realize that when Levan couldn't go sideways, and then he took Levan's wrist a little bit. Even from there, he was able to recover and take Laletin's hand, you know. So
the only risk factor is the reliance on the hand, as John just said there. That's specifically that point to encapsulate it. Not reliant on back pressure, but if Laletin's got enough height that he doesn't have to use that much back pressure and can allow him to fall back into the move and retain his hand and wrist, that's where Dave would encounter a problem. Right. And it's whether he's got enough raw top end to just blast through it, and he may have. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the strength gap. I don't know what it is.
I talked with Dave. Dave said, I don't want to trade, but Dave knows that he needs to take the wrist first before he tries to go pin pad, you know. Because if he goes sideways to arm, that is where Laletin is gonna put him in a trap.
Yes, ambush.
He will lose his own later, and he won't be able to control. There is no way before he gets exhausted, Dave is controlling Laletin's pronator. There is no way that, you know, he would just hold him like this. If he doesn't, if once Laletin has his wrist like this, it's in my opinion.
Now, you know what's so interesting about that, guys, is because we may see here a situation where the starts of the match are slowed down because both guys are thinking, I can't rush. If I rush at this, I'm going to fuck it up and sacrifice my hand and wrist. And if I lose that element of control, this guy will punish me. So we may see, from both guys, we may see a relatively, by their standards, a relatively controlled start in terms of they're going to move this quick, fast, not go for the pad. Right. It may be more like...
And the worry Dave has to have is he's got the bigger muscles and he's going to blow up and be numb quicker and easier, in my opinion, than Vitali will be. Vitali's, you know, that doesn't have those big, huge, you know, dragster muscle bellies that's going to go numb on him as quickly as Dave's will. So that's got to be a concern to me if I was Dave. Like, okay, now I've got that pressure of, and I want to, you know, get the match over fairly quickly. I don't want to end up going into some, you know, long, you know, drawn out match. So yeah, that's a little bit of a chess play, right?
I think so. I think this match, I think the factors surrounding it make it more fascinating. I think the timing is wonderful. I love the fact that this is timed as it is. It's high pressure for both lads, but from a spectator's perspective, I think it's fantastic. It couldn't be more exciting in many ways.
Terrible timing. I feel sorry for them.
I do.
Both have been losing, and I hate to see any of them losing 3 times in a row. And it's for Dave, it's I think even 4 times internationally. Levan, and then Gennady and Morozov. If you lose that one, Dave doesn't deserve this. I mean, it's just like so. So I think that Dave needs to win more than Laletin does. Both needs to win, but both are incredible pullers, and neither of them deserves to lose 3-4 times in a row. It's just so terrible. Yeah.
You've just literally preempted my next question. That's where I was going to, you know, who needs this most? It's a fucking, like you say, it couldn't be worse timing for the lads. It's awesome for the timing of the match, though. This is what makes it so good, because both these lads are backed into a corner. Right. And I think you often see the best of a guy when his back's against the wall, when it's like, shit, I have got to come out swinging. I've got to get the result. I cannot afford to drop this, you know?
Also, John, you said that, you know, because he's more muscular and he should be more concerned of, you know, being pumped. But sometimes when you apply so much pressure on a guy more than he can handle, he also gets exhausted. Like same in a Levan versus Devon match. Devon is incredibly, like, there is no one close to him about endurance, while Levan is more explosive. But when the strength gap is kind of big, every round it gets even easier. Like, you understand? Because if you wanna, if you're holding back,
of course, but let's rewind and use the Devon versus Saplinkov left-handed as an example. Even in the last round, when as dominant as Dennis was, when he let Devon stay in the match for 15, 20, 30 seconds, he couldn't pin Devon. Then all of a sudden it went to like,
but the 6 rounds was enough to beat him. And then
no, of course, yeah, of course.
That round wasn't official, right? It was after 6.
Well, I'm just saying from what we've seen of Dave, even when he's so dominant, so overpowering, it still takes a little chunk out of him. It's 5%, from round to round. It's all of a sudden third round's coming, and like hopefully he's still that dominant to get the match over quick.
If you look at from the realistic point, Dennis didn't have to wait for him. You understand? If he wanted, he could still beat him quicker.
Well, all I'm saying is Dennis elected to allow that race to go to 15, 20 seconds, and then all of a sudden
but you need to really make with your own power to come to that 20 seconds of endurance match, not that your opponent gives you. So in fact, he didn't really bring him to that point. He could beat him 20-0, every round 20-0. So Devon was getting exhausted because every round he was having a pressure.
He was too much for Devon at that point. But here again, that's what makes this 6th round very interesting, is that there's many occasions where it's just that enough of that sprinter's ability is gone from round to round that all of a sudden the match changes halfway through the 6 rounds, where the endurance guy ends up coming out on top.
So guys, there we go. We've touched on that one a long period of time. We just had it, and we're going to move on to our next topic in a moment, which is going to be all about John Brzenk, Monster Michael Todd, which is coming very, very soon, because I want to ask you about that. We're also then going to ask about the Petrenko match, because you're a busy bloke at the moment, John. Absolutely lining up the matches, mate. So Ryan's exposed cables coming with a super chase, but here we go. Why are you wasting time discussing Vitali and Dave? The only match that matters is Ryan versus Khaled. And then he's put Brzenk for president 2024. Do you push it, boys?
So just real quick, I won't spend any time on this, but Ryan and Khaled, you think Ryan's got enough horsepower to stop it? If he stops it, he's going to win it. I don't think he's going to take it.
I worry about that whole scenario because Schoolboy and Khaled could be a screamer.
Oh yeah. Well, if that happens, then that's not even fair. Then obviously.
I'd have to say that if one of those guys comes through smashed to bits, Ryan should bury him. I mean, if put it this way, if Khaled and Schoolboy have an absolute screamer, okay, so Alex and Khaled beat the crap out of each other bad. It's a real war, and then Khaled can beat Ryan.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah,
you've got to be like, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'd hook him after that. I mean, just hook him. Wherever he's been taxed the most, go there.
Right.
And is there any other sport that, in a boxing, one guy just goes boxing and then finishes that match and then goes to another boxing match and then the guy is just pulling someone who just had a match? So, I think that concept, they are doing an incredible job, especially Dave Chaffey versus Laletin. For me, I'm gonna say honestly, in the Morozov versus Dadikian matches, incredible. Also, Khalid versus Schoolboy is also incredible.
That's an interesting
Irakli
match,
versus Lachlan, I think that Irakli is heavily favorite. It's just opinion, no disrespect, but that the one guy is pulling 2 super matches and the one is only pulling that, it is for me just opinion, not really my type. I don't think that anyone should pull 2 super matches while the other one is pulling 1. I'm just saying, no disrespect, but not my type of, just.
The other thing is, if Khaled cracks Schoolboy, beats him easy, then it's interesting. Murders him.
Then Ryan will be the hero if he can actually stop the match. If Schoolboy couldn't and he does, then it will be, feather in Ryan's.
The ascendancy of Ryan. He'll be up.
No, it will only prove that Ray is incredible.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, you got, weirder things have happened, but I think Schoolboy and Khaled could be a war, because Schoolboy's no bum.
No, he's got to be getting better, right? He's a young kid. I mean, we don't even know what level he's at. I mean, he might be a good match for Vitali for all we know. I mean, we have no idea.
He's a big lad. He's a proficient puller. He has a hook. I'm not saying he's going to use the hook, but he has one. I He doesn't need to go blasting straight out at Khaled. What's Khaled been doing? He's been fighting. Has he been training arm wrestling? I don't know. The guy's clearly a weapon in terms of natural talent, but if Khaled can beat Schoolboy, I will be impressed. He may well do that, but I would still be impressed considering the fact that, as I understand it, he hasn't been training for arm wrestling. That's a hell of a win for a guy that he's not training for arm wrestling.
Obviously, yeah. He's definitely got the strength, but he still doesn't have that fluid mechanics to bust Schoolboy quickly. I just don't see it. I think he's going to be
maybe without strap. Because his grip is so strong, maybe he cannot get out or something. Last time
his grip's ridiculous. I mean, Jesus, guy goes for a piss and his shoelace is tightened. I mean, just ridiculous. But if they get into a war and then he's got to pull Ryan, I think that could be pretty flat. I think Ryan could just murder him.
Hopefully they give him rest period, right? Maybe do it like they're not going to do it right after his super match with.
I don't know actually. Yeah, I genuinely don't know how that works. Right. Like, like if Schoolboy smashes Khaled, surely they've got to put Schoolboy in against Ryan then,
right?
Because you can't have
that would make
Schoolboy
sense.
beat the piss out of Khaled and then go and then you got to pull him.
Yeah,
that wouldn't work. Yeah. So
the prophecy is not going to come true, Khaled. You didn't. Take a seat. Yeah.
Right. But if Ryan starts talking shit on Khaled, good luck. You can do it because Khaled's aggressive as hell, isn't he?
I have a question for you guys. How would be if I would say Ferret versus Gennady?
Ferret looked awesome to me. I called you like the day later and like, what the hell? I was so happy and excited to see that the old school guy did as well as he did.
I asked Ferret, like, Ferret, do you really believe that today arm wrestling is a totally another level? And he said he's not even any close to his 2006 level when he pulled you. And then he said, no, Engin, it's not, except probably Levan. Except Levan, probably.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was a match, wasn't it? Yeah. That 2006.
Just awesome to see him do so well. Yeah, just awesome. Well, how old is Ferret? Is he in his mid-40s? What is he? Is he in his 30s, late 30s?
He's 41, I think.
41. So he's in the prime of his life as far as strength goes. Yeah. So yeah, it was great to see.
And would it be a good elbow? Gennady and him?
Excuse me?
Gennady and him would be a good match, you think?
Yeah, from what we just saw. Yeah, obviously.
Could be great. It's nice to see him back in the mix.
Yeah.
If they go both top roll, I think Ferret has the edge. But what if Gennady hooks him? Because I don't know if Ferret is hooking lately.
I don't know what you said. He had some elbow issues. So I don't know what his.
How bad is his elbow?
I mean, he said it's healed, but it is still not that strong, and he's not that confident. The psychologically, if you have been injured for like 10 years, you understand, or 8 years, so it's not that easy because you develop something else. Like, because your arm wants to turn that way, not want to go so deep. You remember,
to protect it, right?
Like yours, it was like more like joint. Yours is like more like, a little bit like muscle type, while his is just totally joint. Yeah. It will be, I don't know. It will be interesting.
Is he still as hungry, Engin?
Oh, yeah. Now I don't want to tell all of his goals, but his goals are big. So I think that you both are experienced enough to understand what I say. But who knows? I don't know. Everyone has a dream.
I mean, Ferret's
not everyone is going to fulfill that.
Beast, man. Rock strong. Great dude as well.
He's got one hell of a big frame. I mean, if anybody could do it, Ferret could do it.
Yeah, he's man's a weapon. Ferret's an absolute monster. Really strong as hell.
Arm wrestling is in some good years right now. I feel like, like very good. I think we see a lot of competition. The only problem is that Russia called all those, guys who can go to war at that age. And I cannot say between us, we are on live. So I told me
Between me and the rest of the world.
Okay, just tell everyone who are following us to close their ears. Yeah, I talked with Ferret, not Ferret, Arsen, and I said, how is it going? He said, Engin, I don't know, because I may be one of those guys, because he's like one of them. It doesn't mean that he's gonna be called, but he's young enough to be called for reserve, you understand? So I heard a lot, like hundreds of thousands people may be called, and the Russians seniors are not allowed to compete WAF World Championships, but juniors and disabled category, they were allowed, because juniors and the disabled. But as far as I know, Arsen told me that even them, the Russian government does not allow any national team from any sport discipline to go out right now. And then I told this to our president, Niazi, and he said, yeah, Russians canceled their reservation. They were coming 140 juniors and disabled. They canceled it. So there may be a problem them to get outside. And I think there will be some legal problems if they don't go to army when they are called. So then we may start having some problems about seeing Russian arm wrestlers at these times. If the things gets worse, I mean, we may not even see arm wrestling, because people are talking about World War III. You know, I don't know if you guys are following, but
yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine being an arm wrestling an athlete, you know, to be called to war and know that you're actually battling people that you've competed against, you know, across the table. I mean, it's unfathomable. I mean, I can't imagine it.
Just a horrific scenario. That any way that can be worked out. I mean, just an awful bloody scenario.
We all wish that this is gonna finish, and then everything will be fine. Because if something crazy starts, I don't know how many of us will survive.
Just the worst possible scenario. So
let's go back to arm wrestling.
Yeah, let's start with what's coming next for John Brzenk, and it's Petrenko.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got a busy run into the end of this year, mate. For a man your age, I still got it. But I'll tell you, looking straight, flying into Petrenko.
After the Corey match and then the Ungerbayev match, I've been pretty much just licking my wounds here. It's been nice to have them. Well, I don't know how many weeks it's been, 4 or 5 weeks of just trying to reset, and I just actually started pulling really hard last week again. Tendons are making all kinds of unusual noises, and I'm trying to figure out how to get this inflammation under control. But yeah,
mate, Petrenko, I don't. Today, you're saying about joints and inflammation, all that shit. I got to tell you this. Today, I'm gripping up with Larry Wheels, right? And I said, okay, Larry, I'm going to let you pull. You go into your hook and put some pressure, right? So I'm holding him in the hook, and he starts to accelerate me, and my wrist is absolutely. And Larry looks up at me and he goes,
"What is that?
Oh shit!" He said, "That wrist." He goes, "That
still
wrist,
attached.
Bones in there." And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Ray did that." It's Ray actually broke my wrist.
Hook is the wrong choice.
Oh, mate, you should have heard my wrist. And it was the way he stopped and looked up like, "What the fuck is that in your wrist?" It's knackered.
By the way, yeah, I'm standing like this. I'm in Sicily, Italy, in a hotel room, and the battery finished, so I need to hold the phone in the air like this. So this is why, you know, I'm not in.
Oh, it's a good backdrop. So anyway,
getting back to what you were saying with the injuries, John.
Oh, I've just injuries, you know, and I've kind of figured out how. I thought I had them under control, but yeah.
How bad were you after the Corey match? Because you went red line.
Well, yeah, the Corey match. I think I was still just probably in recovery mode. That the aches and pains didn't really show up for the Ungerbayev match, because I actually did feel pretty good against Ungerbayev. I mean, I felt like I had, you know, no real issues. I was sick, and thankfully I finally whooped that shit about 2-3 weeks ago. It lingered in my lungs forever. But
what was it, COVID?
I don't know. Well, I'll tell you the story. I tested 3 times for COVID, but everybody that I got around ended up getting COVID, and then they would call me later like, I got COVID. I went and got tested after I hung out with Corey and his wife and Michael. I think Michael even said he got it again after I started testing at work. 2 days later, after I was at work, the 3 guys that I work with all tested positive for COVID.
Yeah, you full on.
How is that happening? I'm testing negative, but everybody that I'm around is testing positive. So
yeah, you've definitely
so
got
the
it.
official answer is no, I did not have COVID.
Carry a monkey.
But something definitely has kicked my ass here the last month. So, but I'm feeling better. I should be ready for Petrenko. Really don't know what to expect. If his hand is what I see is from the old footage, it looks like he's going to be very difficult in the top roll, and I'm not sure my hook is going to be strong enough to wear him down. It looks like he's hopefully one of those guys that, full bore, pull, and is not will be stoppable, at least if it ends up having to go into a hook. Definitely excited to arm wrestle him just because he was one of the top names. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, he just, I don't know. He doesn't seem to be like a high posting top roller, but his hand looks to me like the width of Voda. So it seems like he's probably going to have a very difficult, I'm going to have a difficult time really getting that hand to break back. And he's stocky enough and stout and stocky enough like Todd Hutchins that I worry that will translate into something that goes wrist to wrist, and I'll just be, outgunned. But
don't go there. Don't go inside.
Oh, don't go inside with me.
Yeah, but remember, Neil, what's the guy's name with the glasses? Raymond Antonovich.
Yes.
You remember they had a match qualification match.
Did great.
And Raymond top rolled him, and I think Petrenko won some rounds on fouls, but Raymond's was look incredible, he was able to take his wrist every time. But yeah, I wouldn't. Because his endurance, I think, is good, John. This is what he's slow. It is he's not like Ongarwev, like the tall forearm and incredibly, technical, hand control or something. He is just very plain way, strong arm master. Yeah. And I think you will be able to use everything.
My strength. Okay.
Everything. No, he's not gonna put you. There's no chance he's gonna put you in a technical ability or some genetic, the forearm ability to put you out of position. If he beats you, he will beat you because he's stronger than you, and you are not able to put him out of position. But I think you will have your opportunity to use your top roll.
So I just need to figure out a way to blunt the aches and pains, So just saunas.
Have you been able to train?
Jacuzzi
really,
baths?
Not much.
I haven't been. I've just been beat up, and like I said, just getting over the aches and pains of the cold, and I just decided I just needed a full reset, a full rest of doing anything. And the little bit that I've done, like I said, I talked about the tendons. It's not bone on bone. It's like the tendon is actually stretching and making weird noises. So,
oh shit!
So hopefully we'll figure that out.
And then straight off the back of Petrenko, you close your year out with a bloody Michael Todd match.
Yeah,
match for the ages. That one. I mean,
yeah.
And a bucket list match for Mike. I mean, he wants that win bad.
Yeah, no, he's he's obviously training.
We missed. They were asking.
This is it. This is
it. We missed it. Yeah. They were asking you, John, how he would do against Prudnik.
Well, I was just going to mention that. I mean, I know he's in probably if you ask Mike, he's always in the best shape of his life, but I'm starting to truly believe that he is probably in the best shape of his life because he is so focused on busting Evgeny. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I rank Evgeny like top of the list. I mean, I think that he's probably on par, is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, hook pullers in the world. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he would stop a Dave Chaffey, So Michael's got his work cut out, and Evgeny's also got a super strong, dominant hand. He normally can control people that are trying to top roll him. So will Michael's King's move, just back pressure, work with Prudnik?
The other real
I don't
threat
know.
with Evgeny as well is that speed. He's
Yeah.
so quick.
Yeah.
It's Michael is
but quick won't matter if Mike can just get that stop and get a spot to stop it. Yeah. But Evgeny, I don't know, from what I've seen against, he played with Morozov, as far as Morozov trying to top roll, and he was just able to just like, so, but to me, Michael, for me, I'll have probably a different mindset or game plan than Evgeny will. Evgeny will probably try to blast him to the pad, or during my match, I'm going to be way more calculated, make sure I secure my hand and wrist and keep that bow, not really even move towards the pad until I feel like it's time.
You've got everything.
I can move to the pad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to attempt to, do this stuff off the go. So
there's a big advantage you've got as well is experience of.
I've got experience arm wrestling that animal.
Yes, that awkward.
I know exactly what not to do.
Yeah.
You need also good hand endurance. You don't want to be pumped after.
Oh, it's all hand and wrist and cup with him. Yeah. I mean, it's if I can, maintain that, and a man maintain it after 30 seconds of him exerting the energy to be locked out, then we got something. But
John, I have a question for you. What if Michael stops Evgeny in a position that Evgeny's wrist is like stop at the neutral position?
I don't know. I'm not going to underestimate Evgeny and say that he's doomed, because I've seen him do some crazy things with his hand and wrist. So, and he's got that ability like Rustam does to actually commit to not even having the hand, but the lat and back brings that pressure down on the wrist. I mean, if he secures that with Michael, and I think Michael's going to go away, but yeah.
Mike's so motivated right now as well. Yeah. Michael is motivated.
Yeah. Who hook up Michael's pronator in a fresh match? In his top years?
No, it's tough. It's tough to do it. But if anybody can, I think Prudnik can. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. You ask about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I brought his name up, Babayev, little Rustam, just because of his setup. And it's like, boom, he's not messing around with that hand. He's protecting high, and all of a sudden that big lat and direct center down pressure comes on your wrist. It's hard to pull that King's move off when you're already at kind of a low angle, because you're arm wrestling someone that's 5'6", 5'7".
I think that speed, that explosivity off the start, and if you can blast into someone when you're not running from the arm, the more you attack it and move the arm quicker. Fast twitch is super important there.
Yeah.
I think trying to contain Mike is damn near impossible.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not. It won't be done with the hand. If Evgeny does it, it will be because of the back and lat and dropping straight to the center of the pad onto his wrist.
Yeah, Mike's so motivated right now, though. I'm interested to see what the friggin' hell shows up.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited.
Training
I hope he pulls it off. But that's. Yeah, he looks so strong against. Well, they both look strong against Hutchins, and Hutchins was just on a tear. So,
how are you feeling confidence-wise after watching that? I mean, you're watching with Todd. Did you think at the time, like, holy shit? Are we?
Yeah. Well, Todd and I are a little bit different in the respect that he doesn't have the hand that I do to really control the match. I think if he was able to get a hold of Michael, he would have probably had. Well, he would have had an easier time than I'm going to have. But yeah, I mean, Todd suffers the fact that he just doesn't have the height to really have that hand to secure a control in the match. So, but yeah, I was actually surprised. I thought Todd would be able to just kind of pronate, keep his knuckles high in the strap and match Michael's side pressure. But well, Michael figured it out. Michael saw the Jerry match, I guess, and knew that Mr. Hutchins was a little vulnerable to the bicep, shoulder roll. So
yeah, fought fire with fire, and he went in really quick, fast, very committed.
I hope he does that with me. I would love him to do that. Please, Michael, hook me just for fun, especially if you dominate me in the top row. I would love to see, just for old time's sake, the UAL that, see if he could press me, with the shoulder roll.
I mean, you and Mike,
I'd be up for that.
Unbelievable close to the year. He's got an incredibly tough match coming in Evgeny, and then obviously straight off the back of that into yourself, right. And you, Petrenko, and straight into my.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, so that'll probably be a factor. I mean, how either of us survive East versus West. So
yeah,
maybe I should have wrote that in the clause in the contract. Either one of us can cancel.
Yeah, well, if let's say you got bust up.
Yeah. No, well, it's not.
Would you
I don't think
it. Go back.
Oh, of course. I don't think it's set in stone. I don't think he's committed to anybody to make it. If we got to be rolled up in a wheelchair, that people are going to expect us to pull. So we both have to be feeling it and confident and healed to make it happen.
Everybody wants to see it. We've had Ryan's exposed cable with a super chat. Thanks, brother. He's put, how to get your inflammation under control, John. Take a trip with Devon down to Tijuana for some stem cell therapy.
Yeah, that's a 50-50 shot from the research I've done. I don't know. I
love that you've been looking at it. It's like, yeah, I might just.
I've been actually thinking. It's to the point where I'm like, what the hell? I'm such a cheapskate, though. I mean, I can't spend thousands of dollars on hope or on a.
You need to get Engin's old ass there as well. He's all beaten up. I'm past saving, but you might be able to recover Engin. You never know. What do you reckon, Engin? Fancy a trip to Mexico, bit of Stelsen?
Oh no, I know in my I will have it soon.
Why is it only in Mexico? How come Turkey doesn't have stem cell? I could get it done while I'm there.
Stem cells in Europe as well, isn't it? You could get stem cell done in Europe, can't you?
In my country is cheaper than somewhere else.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. I think in the state hospital, I think I may even have free. They don't do it cosmetic type of thing for free, but for the injuries, I think they do it. But I also find somewhere about $1,500. They are gonna take my fat from belly, and then they are gonna make it ready and inject to my knees, my elbows, and my wrists.
There you go. Two birds with one stone, right? You get rid of the belly.
You're talking about Engin. This is like you're saying if you've got a fat belly, they can heal you.
They're going to get rid of the belly and fix the
That's so much work that can be done. They could make me a new man.
Doctor told me, "Do you have a lot of fat?" I said, "Yeah."
You should have said no, but I know a man who does.
Yeah.
Mate, I would.
Maybe sometimes when you come, I can maybe prepare that thing, So I mean, with doctor.
Yeah.
And maybe you come and stay a few days more, and then we do that, and you go.
Sure. Check into the ability and the cost, and I'd be up for that.
I'd bloody be up for that.
Taking a trip down to LA and then Tijuana is probably tougher than just getting it done in Istanbul. So
friggin' awesome idea. Get that done. If you
don't need the hair transplant yet, though. Got the full head of hair, so I'm good with that. You don't have to.
All that mat stuff flying in there. So Z's guitar account with the super chat is because all of our top guys are so likable, I find it really hard to root for one guy over another. But when the GOAT is involved, it's John all the way. Best of luck with Oleg, Mr. Brzenk.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I'm gonna need some luck. As I'm getting older, I definitely need some things to go my way. Luck.
Yeah, mate, you're booking yourself some heavy hitting finish to the year. That is by any stretch of the imagination. That is a tough end to the year, particularly if you are bust up from those last matches. Wow.
Yeah, it's still 7 weeks away. So I'm thinking I should be fine.
Is your plan to do a little bit of work going into the match? Are you going to try and get some?
No. I've been training now. I mean, we pulled we pulled for almost an hour and a half yesterday. So I've been pulling Tuesdays and Saturdays. So
just with Dustin and yourself, just one
Dustin,
on one.
yeah, and a few other guys been coming over. So some new guys.
Did you feel better than the first time you started pulling after break?
Oh yeah. Of course.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's
Yeah.
good.
The first time Dustin came over and says, "Oh, you're
still
still hurting." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm pretty I'm pretty tender still. I'm out of shape." But
yeah. Do you know what's interesting? The best shape of Prudnik is considered the top 8 shape. And whenever he and Ongarbayev wanted to go top row versus top row, and Ongarbayev was the one who took the risk of Prudnik. And when Ongarbayev tried to go against, John, the first round, John was able to copy him and take. So what I'm just saying that if John is healthy, little bit better shape, anything
much.
I don't see it. Yeah. So
no, I definitely want another rematch with Ongarbayev. I really enjoyed that. I thought he was a super nice guy. Just enjoyed the whole thing, and it was, I think we're so. It's exciting to have someone that's built exactly like me, similar styles. So it's just a matter of just that little twitch, that little blink to make the difference one way or the other. So those are always a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's got to happen, Engin, rematch.
Yeah. To me, I would set it anytime. I will just ask Ongarbayev. It would be nice. I'm not gonna tell him, "Hey, Ongarbayev, you pull in John this state," but I would just say, "Hey, Kedirgali, you know who John is, and this is nothing but honor." And then
Kedirgali will jump at it, mate.
I know he will.
He'll be up
but
for it.
if he has the title, I tried to explain to John by WhatsApp. I hope he didn't misunderstand me. But if Kedirgali still has the title, and if John somehow, sorry John, but loses against Petrenko, then it still can happen. But some people who doesn't probably realize who John is, may question that, how come he get another title shot?
Right. Yeah. No, but I would expect you to put him up against somebody like Erekle. I mean, there's a lot of guys in line to take that title if he has a title right now that would make it even that much more fun to pull him again if he prevailed in beating some of the other tough competition that's out there.
Well, I'm just saying you better beat Petrenko. What kind of terrible organizer I am that telling John not to go hook in with Petrenko and better beat him, and then this. So do I look like a John fan or something?
Yeah. No, I didn't want to go on a hook with Corey either, but it was something that was my only choice. So I mean, it's a possibility that will be the only viable option.
It will be a war. You both will have most likely flat wrist, and then I expect a war. My opinion.
That's how we roll. Let's go. So let's have a look. We got F Nation 201. He's put, this is interesting. Either of you can take this one on, guys. Take your pick. If Prudnik beats Michael, what does that do for Michael's credibility at super heavyweight? Does it mean that he's done at super heavyweight? Would you think that he's written off then, and people wouldn't take him seriously? I think you partially answered this question, John, with that comment about maybe, Evgeny could beat a Dave Chaffey in a hook, and
Well, he beat the guy that beat Dave Chaffey. So I put Evgeny in a higher spot. So I don't say no. That's finished for Michael if Evgeny prevails, because I think he clearly is possibly top 5 in the super heavyweight. So
we just need to understand that these guys at their level is so close to each other. Anyone can beat anyone. So there is no shame to lose. Even Dave Chaffey has lost 2 matches in a row, and who knows, he may lose the next one too against Laletin. So I think that people shouldn't be so hard on these people. And so, Michael, I think even he loses, you see that every match that he has is a long match ball, He doesn't get really like destroyed or something.
No, without a doubt.
Prudnik may beat anyone. I'm not saying he will, and he can, but a heavy, incredible shape, Prudnik has chance to beat anyone except Levan. I'm not saying that he has more chance than the other ones. Just say against Hermes, I would favor Hermes, but I would just say still 60-40. I wouldn't say that Hermes 100 is 0 or something. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I agree.
So we are now coming up to an hour and a half into this. And you know what, guys? Before we check out tonight, I've got a massive favor to ask all of the people that are watching the show. We have a Facebook page for the Arm Wars Super Series that we're trying to get going, the Facebook page, so we can bring you more content, okay? And I need all of you to make your way over to the Arm Wars Facebook page. I'm going to put the link in the description to the show right up the top so you can see it. Get over to the Arm Wars Facebook page, like and follow the page for me. If you could do that, guys, I would really, really, really appreciate it. It's going to help us out a huge amount. It really is. Help the whole Arm Wars promotion. It would be great if you could do that for us, guys. So that's the Arm Wars Facebook page. If you could all just head over there, it takes just 1 minute of your time, no cost. If you could go over there and just like and follow the Facebook page, that would be tremendous. Thank you if you do that, guys. Really do appreciate it. Lads, yeah, go for it.
Before you continue, my friend, tomorrow morning, 4 a.m., I need to leave to the airport. We are in Sicily, and we need to go to, I think, Palermo airport, and it is midnight here. I only have 4 hours.
We're going to we're wrapping it up right now, mate. This is what I was just coming into.
If you weren't going to do it, Engin, I was going to do it.
Yeah, we're done, mate. We're done. So, guys, I want to, for everybody in the chat, I want to just say, go over, support the two men that are on this show. John Brzenk, he's got his YouTube channel there. Get over. John, do you still do your Monday Night Lives?
Yeah, I haven't. I'm lazy. I need to get some, guys like yourself and Engin to talk to, and it'd make it a lot easier for me. But
hey, mate, anytime.
I haven't done the
bellows up.
Haven't done the
you might have.
We can do that, mate. We can do that. But get over, guys, and sub to John's channel. Give him some love. This is the best of us, the best to ever do it in this game. So show your support for John Brzenk. Also, Engin Terzi, unless you've been living under a rock, you know the quality of the events that's coming out of East versus West at the moment. They are absolutely mega. The cards are stacked with monsters, purest arm wrestling dream. If you like your arm wrestling to be at the absolute elite level, East versus West coming up, the November card, my God, it is unbelievable. Check out that card. It's lunacy. Every match on there, some of the matches on there are just incredible. Some of the matches that are undercards are headliners anywhere, so go over, check that out, get sub to Engin, follow Engin on Facebook also. And if this is your first time here on Supernatural Strength channel, take your time out to just give us a like, a share, and a sub as well, guys. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's taken time out to tune into the show. Massive thank you to John Brzenk and to Engin. Really appreciate your time.
Quickly.
Yeah, fire, dude.
Okay, sorry. Revaz or Morozov? Who is winning, John?
Morozov is on the streak. I got to go with Morozov. Yeah, I think he's younger and getting just crazy better quickly. So I mean, Revaz is awesome also, but yeah, I'm going to say Morozov.
We need to do another of these shows.
It's complete guess though. I mean, I just based on his last performance against Chaffey, who I regard as top.
I was just too curious. I knew we are gonna do interview, and I'm gonna ask you all this, but I just couldn't wait.
Okay, yeah.
We'll get another show with us on.
I might change my mind tomorrow. I got to watch some more footage of the two.
That's the problem with this, isn't it? At the moment, a lot of these matches that are coming up, you're like, you start playing things up in a different way. Hard, very, very hard. Guys, thank you. Thanks for everybody in the chat. I hope you enjoyed the show.
All right.
Take it easy, all best to you and families, and we will see you again soon.
Thanks again, Neil.
We'll
see you soon.
Take care, Neil. Thank you.
Quality, we should be off, guys, I think.